sisters, I've been watching the news and I can see where things are going, so I'm actually anchoring back in Scripture. And when I gave the message to my non-Christian brethren out there, I'm going to spell it out more clearly, and it's defining Scripture. And in John 4, one of the most notable passages, at least from our standpoint, is the Samaritan woman. And the apostles didn't know why Jesus spoke to the Samaritan woman. That's because Jesus had love for everyone. And it's a message of love that we should all share. But it also shows the Genesis 12 promise that Abraham would bless many nations. And Christian churches should realize that there is a parallelism here. And it's even specified in John 8:7. And Jesus told, "Lest any man without sin be the first to cast stone." And no man cast stone. Why? Because everybody knew they were guilty of sin. So all have fallen short of the glory of God. But you go further into it, and you got Luke, and it's 23:39 to 43. And you have the prisoners who were next to Jesus when Jesus had been crucified. And one said, "Well, you're the Son of God, just free us now." And Jesus said nothing to him. And the other one said, "Don't you fear God? And, Lord, please take mercy on me. I'm paying for my sins." And Jesus told him, "Come join me in paradise." And we should be very somber to understand that we need to recognize our sinful nature, because only through that can Christ really save us, right? Because we have to recognize our fallen status. And that's what the gospel message was recognizing our fallen status. And Jesus even specified this more in Matthew 5:20. He said, "Unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees, you will surely not see the gates of heaven." And it was talking about the imposition of law. And it was the imposition of law beyond mercy, justice, grace. And Jesus knew this. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't have that sense. We like to judge others. And I'm guilty. And as I've pulled away from it, I understand what Jesus was saying. So I'm hoping you guys will understand. In Matthew 7, Jesus said, "Judge not, lest ye be judged. With the judgment you judge, you shall be judged." And he was basically telling us that whatever laws or other things that we superimpose on ourselves, imagine being in a church where you chastise certain sins over others. And anything that's not loving God with all your heart, Matthew 22:36 to 40, and loving your brother more than yourself, you will be subject to that judgment unless you adhere to Jesus' grace. And it's really spelled out in Matthew 18:21 through 35, and it's the parable of the good master with the wicked servant. And the wicked servant had a debt to pay, and the good master forgave him his debt. But when he went back to the world, he ended up putting a person who was in a similar situation where he was looking for a lesser amount of money and for mercy, and he subjected that person to prison. And at the end of the passage, God will judge us by that standard. So with that, I tell you, brothers and sisters, do not judge lest ye be judged. Ease away from the world. Do not be easily offended. Just remember that these things are to happen, and that's part of the reversal that Christ did in the past. And we have to trust Christ, because his judgment will be just. And just love God with all your heart, and love your brother as yourself. And don't worry about any judgments that take place on this earth. God will get his justice. And we should only be looking for ourselves to be subject to grace, because it's only through Christ's atoning death that we can get there. So, with that, that's a sobering message, but I just want you to know Jesus didn't necessarily look for people who were self-righteous. Jesus looked for people who were sinners, who recognized their sinful nature and wanted grace. And those are the people who worship in spirit and truth. And that's why I say I've always felt closer to my secular brothers, because I see the hypocrisy in the church, and I don't want you guys to be the hypocrites, just like the Pharisees were in the Jewish days. So, with that, I send my love, but remember, judge not, lest you be judged. God bless you, brothers.